Sweet, free beer for an axe. Well, I mean, I paid like 10 gold for the... Was it 10 gold for it? No, I paid 6 gold for the axe. 6? 5? 5 gold for the... I don't know. I can't remember how much it was. I paid some gold for the axe. No, I paid 10 gold for the jewel that melted immediately. That's right. I definitely paid some gold for the axe. So that's essentially the cost of the beer. That was actually an expensive beer. I would have been better off just buying the beer. But can one really put a price on information? Yeah, because I already knew most of that information. I guess the pass that gets me into the Crystal Waterfall without trouble would be pretty useful. Because, as memory serves, it winds up being trouble. I forget exactly what the nature of the trouble was, but it was definitely trouble. It's a choose-your-own-adventure game. Everything is trouble. Alrighty, we should probably find an inn for the night then while we're here. Is it being run by kids? Yes it is. Okay. You find the village inn buried under a rocky overhang. Proprietor stands in the doorway, a formidable young girl armed with a baker's paddle. What do you want? He squeaks at you. Room and board? 9 gold pieces, the girl answers stubbornly. Well, I've got it. I don't think that's great value for 10 gold, but I thought, well, it's, 9/10 of my gold. It's almost all my gold. My 10 gold. Christ, do I want to pay that? How easily can I get the gold back? I don't know. I may rough it. I kind of want to hang on to the gold. I know when we get to Kare, there's something that I definitely want to buy in Kare that would require me to have a bunch of gold. And 40 gold, if memory serves? Yeah, I think it's 40 gold. So, yeah. Any gold I can get would be really good. Nah, I'm gonna leave. You shake your head. That's too much. You're in a lowly inn and not a palace. The girl scoffs at you just as you turn and walk out of town. Good, we're back to being a vixen. I guess if we paid it, that would have continued being ape, which is like, yeah. I think we've kind of narrowed down our path. Early on, our spirit animal was kind of like, oh, it's all sorts of different things. Now it's kind of flicking back and forth between ape and vixen, depending on whether I'm seeking out information from people or just generally being a douche. Prefer to keep it on this side of the spectrum, but hey. Jan hops up and down. Just you and me. Just you and me, then. Quiet, you grumble. Okay, let's camp outside. We plan to do. You make your way out of the village and into a stand of tall, dry trees under the overhang of one of the cruel mountainsides. In between curling roots, you find a small place to settle down to rest. Jan perches a little way above on a knot and is quickly asleep. You're tired enough to follow suit, but you are hungry from not having eaten. We should probably eat one of our rations, yeah. I mean, I did say I'd prefer to do it when I'm 4 down on health, but in the event that we're going to run into that... I don't know how far away that manticore is. If we're going to run into it, probably want good health. Yeah. I mean, I've always got healing from my spirit as well, but again, if I need to call on that light to top me up before the fight, also good. At the same time, I can also cheese the fight and just do it over and over again till I win. You pull out a quantity of your cheese and bread and eat quickly. The night's darkness draws in around you. In the distance you hear screams and whoops from the village that only slowly fade. You feel lonely, distanced from such revelry. You rest your head onto your backpack and close your eyes. And sleep. And regenerate health. Oh, that's interesting. We didn't straight up get health from sleeping, but our maximum stamina increased, so we kind of did, but also didn't? I feel like we should have gained the health from the maximum stamina increasing and gained the health from sleeping and topped us up to full 18 there. But, yes, my handle on how that mechanic works isn't great. Your dreams are filled with walking, with peaks and valleys and endless paths. A curious light plays across them, the building walls to heights before ruining them as it moves away. Most of the night passes silently. Hey! We didn't need an inn after all. We just saved ourselves 9 gold. I guess the only thing I guess eating at the inn and then camping outside would have been an efficient option to save rations, but interestingly, you straight up just don't actually need to have a room for the night there. Or maybe just sleeping well might actually have increased my stamina. Maybe they would have put on breakfast as well, and I would have got 2 days' rations out of it. Who knows? Could have been a bed and breakfast. And beyond Bilitanti... Oh, shoot. Could I have gone out the other way? We can come round this way, I think, anyway. You rise early from your spot beneath the tree. As you gather your things, Jan leaps up onto your shoulder. Ready to go? He chirps. You rejoin the path on the far side of Biratanti. The sun sits on the horizon like a gleaming jewel. If all goes well, you'll reach Torrepani today, the last village in the Shamutanti hills. After a short climb, the path breaks, heading uphill to the left and downhill to the right. Ask Jan for his advice. Which way, Jan? To the right is a forest. The left is the going is easier. The path heads through a field of black flowers to Torrepani. Okay. What else do you know? What about the black flowers? What else do you know? You demand suspiciously. Nothing, protests the creature. That's a fine way to talk to your guide. I'm not charging you for my advice, you know. You'll get no more from the creature. With Torrepani so close, it hardly matters which way you go, surely. Let's go right, because left. Oh, this is the black flowers. Oh, interesting. I don't think you know what? I remember the Crystal Waterfall being pretty interesting, and we were told that we absolutely, totally should go there, and we got a free pass to go there. So I think that seems like it's in our interests. I can't remember what you do get out of it, but I think it's a pretty interesting place. I am intrigued by the black flowers. It's one of those situations where I'd kind of like to go through the black flowers and then rewind the story back to the path to go this way. But, it is not to be. Let us go right. We go right, you decide. Then be on your guard, Jan warns you. You climb a rise. The way is not too steep, and as noon approaches, you have crested the ridge and are descending yet again. You are now at the highest point of the hills, where the trees are thin, the view west goes on forever, and sometimes you catch glimpses of Kare on the northern horizon. We shall keep going, we don't need to stop and eat here today. You decide not to stop and eat, but push on! Jan is in a talkative mood and fills the air around with his chatter about what you can see, and how things smell, and what he plans to do once he makes his fortune in Kare. Enough to make you wonder if you could sell him as a companion to a blind old lady somewhere. You pass from the open hillside into a patch of deep forest. Quite suddenly, Jan falls quiet and hisses in your ear. Stop! Stop now! Why? Because, insists the creature in a tiny voice, because something is following us! You come to a dead stop. Jan is right. Something is moving through the trees behind you. A moment later, a point of steel has emerged from the darkness between two trees and touches your neck. You've seen me, whispers a voice. I know it! Look into the darkness. You peer into the darkness of the trees. Nothing. Just shadow. Then you see it. It's a shadow with two eyes. And all of a sudden, I'm actually really glad I followed this path. I'll get to that once we've played this out, but I am really glad we followed this path now. I'm glad we didn't go through the black flowers. I don't think I think the black flowers is the boring path, actually. The black flowers is probably a really... I mean, they're black flowers, right? That doesn't sound like that would be a good thing for you. I feel like something bad would happen in the field of black flowers, but no, this is definitely the good path. This is the fun path. This is the interesting path. This has consequences that will last through 4 games path. That's why I like this path. We shall ask who is there. Who's there? There is no reply, but the tall, dark figure of an assassin emerges from the trees. He's dressed head to toe in black, and you had not seen him a moment before, even though he had been standing a mere arm's length away. He wields a sharp scimitar in expert hands. We can cast a spell. What can we cast? Can't cast Kin. We certainly don't have the mirror. Fix would require oak sapling. That's what I'm looking for. A sapling staff, a sapling, right? Seriously, we're in a forest. I feel like we should be able to get a sapling from somewhere. Can we not just go find... we've been through loads of trees. Can we not just go find one, cut it down, turn it into a magical staff, and then we can just, freeze things where they stand forever throughout this game? None of these are good ones, are they? I can have walk. Walk's an alright one. Walk! Create a shield, 1 stamina and 1 gold piece. That's good use of that. You cast the spell and it drains energy from you, but nothing happens. Strange. Oh, we have lost 1 stamina. Okay, never mind. Okay. I suppose we have naught to do but to fight him. You bring your sword up to bear. We have more attack power than him and a lot more stamina. This is one of the trickier fights, I think. He's got about 8, hasn't he? So I can go 8.1 and thrust! 2 damage. Okay, cool. The assassin nods at you, raises his curved sword in salute and readies his stance. You measure the weight of your sword, then bring it up to deliver a cleaving blow. The assassin turns his curved sword about, but can't stop your blade. You knock the assassin staggering into a tree. He seems more surprised than hurt. Defend! Oh, he defended as well. Crap, okay. You drop yourself into a crouch and he hangs back and watches you without emotion. Jab? Yes, he defended. Cool, so that's 1. Time to attack. You sting with your blade low and fast, saving your energy, but the impact clangs against his turned sword. He grins. He's left breathless, but otherwise unharmed. My duty is to sever your head from your neck, the assassin declares in a voice as cold as polished marble. You will not hold me from it. Defend. Yeah, he was going to attack there. Okay. You whip up your defense as he tries a deep slice, but roll out of the way, mostly unhurt. The assassin laughs appreciatively. We go with a 6? Okay, 0. Fine. Acting quickly, you rush forward with a deep, heavy slash, but the blow jumps back off the hilt of his blade. He grimaces with the effort. You will die out here, the assassin says, his tone like ice. Cut! A deep cut! Nice. Nice. The trees watch as the battle unfolds. Relentlessly, you cut and thrust, keeping him pinned. You swing a masterful swipe, outclassing his own sword swing. The assassin's breath is coming in short gasps. He closes his eyes for a moment to steady himself. Closing his eyes, the assassin murmurs a quick prayer as he sets his stance. And yeah, I wasn't gonna... I didn't think I could counter that one. You ready yourself to block as he powers forward, but it only tires him out. You are mostly unharmed. He nods to you, wisely. The assassin spins his sword about to shift the sword across his body. I think we can outdo this, can't we? Bam. 2 damage. Leaping into action, you swing your sword fast in towards his chest. He is off balance and moving slowly, and the blade goes deep. He turns and tumbles, releasing his sword as he topples. I am not so proud as to not admit when I am beaten. Groans. You may finish me if you so choose, but if you do me an honor and use my own blade. 2 stamina lost, decent dueling. He's actually a pretty tricky one to fight, so I'm surprised I got away with 2. I am quite content with 2. The assassin is not dead, but lies on the floor gasping. Oh, shoot. What a moral dilemma. Okay. Not gonna lie. Sparing him is absolutely gonna put me back on the path of the ape. Finishing him will definitely keep me on the path of the vixen, probably forever, because that's a pretty nasty thing to do. I also don't know what you get for searching him. I spared him before, and I can tell you the consequences of sparing him last through 4 games. This guy's actually really good to keep alive. Sparing him is literally one of the best things you can do in this game. And I don't want to kill him. If I kill him, that changes the story of the next 3 books into probably a less interesting one, just because he's not in it. So I guess we spare him. Oh, cool. It didn't deter us from being a vixen. That's fine. And then get up, you tell him, holding your sword back, but not putting it away yet. He nods and sheaths his own blade. You are a worthy victor. I am glad to meet you. Now you have saved me. You own me, in part. My name is Flanker. I am an assassin and a thief. Why did you attack me? It is a simple matter. I pick on wayfarers for practice in hiding and in killing. I assumed you would be no match, especially when I saw your pet. He points briefly at the Mennonite, who is currently hiding under a fold in your tunic. But I see I was wrong. He bows his head once, perhaps in respect, perhaps from the pain of his injuries. You are travelling to Kare? He asks. Why do you ask? That is the way I am going. Well, perhaps I will see you again once we part now. But if I do, remember me. I will not forget the debt I owe you. He's useless. Finish him. No. What is your business in Kare? You ask. He looks long into your eyes for a moment, then answers. The nobles of the city have heard rumours. Goblins are reopening the old mines. They want to know why. And have you found out? I believe so, he replies in a whisper. It is not jewels or iron they're after. You know the history of these hills, perhaps. They have not always been so poor, so underpopulated. Once great and powerful men lived here, men of great knowledge and sorcery. Long gone now. Flanker shakes his head. Not gone. Changed. There's a village of giants in these hills. That is what these men became. He's got one of those voices that does a number on me. I really shouldn't have picked that sort of voice for a character I'm going to see again in the future. Woo! Also, growling earlier probably didn't help me either. The ancient miners once ran a great city. The ancient miners once ran a great city spanning from the Kakabad Sea as far north as the Jaika mines. That is where they mined the ore that forged the crown. And it is that metal, that power, which the goblins are searching for. If Mampang should rise, it will be their only hope. Then it must be stopped. Perhaps they will be. They say the ancients left terrible guardians behind. Bows his head again. This time it is definitely from pain. Go, he hisses. You cannot aid me. Help him. Oh, God, we're an ape. I shouldn't have done that. No, you reply. I've caused your wounds. I will help you. He grins with gritted teeth. Are you a doctor? I do not think you are. I can bind his wounds. Tearing strips of dark fabric from his clothing, you bind his wounds tightly and the bleeding lessens. You are too kind to a man who was about to kill you, he murmurs. Let that be your lesson, you reply as you gather up your things and head out of the forest, leaving him behind. You sense that you have made a powerful friend. Yeah, I have. That's why I wanted to do that. I'm not entirely sure if, you don't help him, he would just, end up bleeding out, which is why I kind of... I know it's not the Vixen path, but there was an element of, I don't want him to die, and, I've just, stabbed him repeatedly and left him in the middle of the forest. He might die. He might die. I mean, I would never, ever know, but he might. Oh well, let's leave the trees. How much longer do you think we'll be travelling today? The Mennonite on your shoulder asks. I'm hungry and tired. We've gone such a long way. You're not even walking. Oh, be silent. The Mennonite complains. You continue along the path and around the side of a hill. A wooden hut is set into the slope, with an old woman sitting on the front step. A river seems to emerge from beneath her. As you get closer, you realise the water flows underneath her house, and the house itself is set on splayed struts like an insect straddling the watercourse. A few paces from the front of the house, the water plunges over the edge of a sheer cliff and disappears. Greet the woman. Greetings, you call. The woman looks up at you and smiles. Come over here, won't you? She calls. I can barely see you. Let's approach her. You approach the old woman. She smiles a toothless smile and gets up from the step. Come in, please, she beckons. I get so lonely living out here on my own away from the villages. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. You follow inside and take a seat by the long wooden table. I'll bring us some tea, she says. She sounds almost nervous. Hurrying to the kitchen, she returns with 2 large cups. Watch it, Jan whispers in your ear. I don't trust this one. Not that I care what happens to you, of course. We'll make a conversation. The tea is still hot. You cup it between your hands as you speak. What's your name? They call me Gaza Moon, she replies with a smile. I used to be quite well known in my way. You nod, but you've never heard of her. Why do you live alone? It must be more dangerous. Oh, she smiles sweetly. No one bothers about me. Why would they? You can't help but notice she has not answered the question. This is a beautiful place, you remark, watching the river outside the door plunging away over the cliff face. This is the top of the crystal waterfall, she says. The river runs right under my house. They say it carries all my goodness and youth away while I sleep, and the villagers bathe in it for luck. She giggles meanly. I'm sure it isn't quite true. You make to sip your tea when the old woman stops you, catching her arm before the cup reaches your lips. Oh, she says suddenly, I've forgotten the pot. She goes back to the kitchen to fetch it. I am going to switch my cups with her. Oh. While she is away from the table, you switch the 2 cups around. Then when she returns, you lift the one closest to you and drink. A sudden deep pain grips your stomach and you double over. What's happening? You wince and cough as you find yourself seizing up. Oh, suspicious stranger, laughs the woman. I can count on travelers suspecting my witchcraft. I'll kill you, try to shout out, but you were quite paralyzed and powerless. God damn it. I knew she would do something, but I couldn't remember what it was. Damn it. Okay, fine. You try to shout out, but you're paralyzed and quite powerless. The old woman begins to search through your bag. Jan watches, arms full, doing nothing, but clearly not surprised. Then, with a coo of delight, she pulls out the spellbook page you were given by the old man in the tree. My book, she cries. A missing page. Why didn't you tell me you had my missing spell? She scurries off to the kitchen and returns with a cup of liquid, which she pours into your half-open mouth while clucking and stroking your head. It is an antidote, and you feel your body slowly unfreeze. Finally, she slaps you to bring you round. What is the spell, you ask? It is a spell of pest repulsion. You have no idea how useful it is around here. He shakes her head. 4 4 days ago, I was visited by a traveller such as yourself, but when I was making my tea, as I always do, he started leafing through my book and tore a page out. He must have been a wizard of power because he vanished almost too fast for me to curse him.